I'm Gary Quinn, and welcome to Ready, Set, Live. My guest today is artist Robert Vargas, best known for his murals around the world. I'm so happy to have him in studio on Zoom today. Welcome, Robert.
Hello, hello.
Robert, it was so great to see you the other night downtown in Los Angeles, where Robert is currently painting a huge installation for Starbucks. But there are massive murals around the world, and the latest one was, well, the Kobe Bryant one. But what is the I mean, your intention is very for humanity. When you're painting, I really saw that passion or that fire or that love that you have. What gets you going?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's great to be here, and I too had a lot of fun with you the other night. We're in our downtown excursion. What inspires me are people, conversations like that night. Um, I was always inspired by people, by creatives that did things that were different than what I do, not necessarily other painters, but the cinema, fashion, set design, music, of course, and a good book. So people I find are the most inspiring to me because I feel like they their faces tell a great story.
Talk to me about. I know you grew up in Los Angeles, and you've been painting all over the world. I've seen your works in Dubai, in London, Sweden. What was your inspiration, or what was the catalyst that made you want to paint?
I never had a choice, Gary. I never had a choice. I was born to paint.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's true.
It wasn't like I had a some epiphany at some point. I was um as soon as I can hold something in my hand, I felt my first love was just the mysteries of mark making and being able to articulate myself in that way.
And I know that I saw it the other night, the Kobe Bryant. That was amazing. That picture that was quite um, telling a story. What was the? I mean, how long did that take to paint?
Are we talking about the one on Angelus, on the large one?
Yes.
Um, that one didn't take very long. I would say it took about a week to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, Sorry, can you hear the notifications?
No, we're fine.
Okay, good. Um, it took about a week to do, but the whole mural, which is a greater story of Los Angeles and its legacy, it has been ongoing for over a year. And it's a 14-story, 60,000 plus square foot mural that I'm painting completely by brush, no rollers, no grids, no projections. And I'm up there alone doing that. And that Kobe Bryant portion was already set in motion prior to his passing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just seeing that part of it through.
Wow. And how many are you currently working on downtown Los Angeles at the moment?
Three as of yesterday,
Okay.
and I just completed the second one. I just completed two of them last night.
Yes. That's the
So
Starbucks one, correct?
yes, we have um a a project that was ongoing for the last couple of weeks where I painted a Unity mural where I was featuring people from literally the community here in downtown and selecting them to be a part of this live interactive mural that I was painting literally outside of Starbucks. And then last night completed my interior mural,
Mm.
which is about 20 by 20 feet, um, at about 3:45 a.m.
Mm, amazing. Wow. No, I love what when you paint. I've seen you. It's almost as if you're just flowing with this picture that comes out of you. And I mean, where do you see? I know your mission is to unite people through your art, but what is the big picture of Robert Vargas for the future?
Well, I think right now in a time when the future seems uncertain for many people, um, and I'm sure my answer right now is different than what it was, a year ago. But I think in the end, it's progress. Just the act of me painting and sharing that on my social media platforms is a sign of progress. People get to see something being created from its inception to completion. And I find that in a time when there doesn't seem to be much progress happening in our lives, either due to COVID or something else, um, you know, the act of me painting becomes kind of inspirational to people, so that they can actually see that there's some sort of, hope.
And the murals that you've painted, Robert, those are, tell me some of the countries that they're in.
Um, I
And
mean, as you
not so much
mentioned,
all
Sweden.
murals, but I've seen you on your social media. You've had actual, painting in those countries. I mean, you've been to a lot of countries painting. I've seen. What are some of those countries?
Well, a couple of those murals that I'm really proud of. One is in Abu Dhabi of Sheikh Zayed, um, there at the Etihad Modern Art Gallery. That's a permanent installation. Also, I have a couple in Sweden. One in Öland, which is an island near Kalmar, uh, in Borgholm. It's a painting at the Vida Museum.
Mm.
Shout out to Vida Museum. And also in Malmö, which is just across the water there from Copenhagen, in Sweden, Malmö, Sweden. That's a fast becoming attraction there. And I just especially love the way that mural looks in the wintertime, because it's of a woman. I call her the Lady of Malmö, and she kind of illuminates the main street there. So it looks really warm on a cold winter day there when everything's covered in snow, and she just looks like she's glowing gold.
Wow, that's great. Um, Throughout the experience of you painting, what has been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome?
What's the biggest challenge that I've had to overcome
Hmm.
in terms of?
In terms of just living, painting, life.
um I never saw it like that. I think for me it's all, I think I'm just wired differently when it comes to challenges. I'm hanging off the side of a 150 foot building every day pretty much. So I think my challenges,
Stay
that
alive.
scale's a little different. Yeah, it's a
Right.
little skid. Um, but honestly, I mean, I'm very present. I take every moment as it comes. I'm very much in tune with where I am and what I'm doing, and am conscious of those steps. So when I'm painting, I think that's why it's so concentrated, because it's I'm really there. There's nothing formulated about it as much as it's just about being present.
Mhm. And it's almost like you're in a zen at that moment. Uh, I believe that's your outlet. I mean, do you do anything else that balances you spiritually other than painting?
I mean, to be honest, painting for me is also meditative.
Mm-hmm.
So spiritually, it centers me. It's growing up uh, in a single parent household, um, in a tough neighborhood. It was also kind of a diary, you know. So it was my therapist. It was it was my best friend,
Yes.
and continues to be. It's the love of my life. You know, everything's wrapped around my art. There's no clocking in or out.
Correct.
It's you know, I think when I do anything else, I'm just trying to conform to society. But like this hat, I take it off and I'm 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 me and as an artist.
Well, I think what's so great, and you know, when people are being authentic and they love what they do, they love what they do, and then the
Yeah, I
rest
guess I don't
speaks.
see it as work. You know,
No, no,
it's just
exactly. It's not work.
yeah, right,
It becomes a passion, a love. It's your friend, you know.
right,
It's like
right.
a musician who really plays and loves to play is really coming from the heart, you know.
I do play guitar, and I've been dabbling on in the piano. I have an upright piano here, but for me, even then, like I don't look at it as a hobby as much as it's just me shifting mediums
Mm-hmm.
from painting to like, you know, maybe stepping away from a painting and digesting it while I'm playing the piano and looking at the painting, and then scooting over and going back to the easel, and then maybe picking up the guitar while I'm looking at another edit or something in my painting. So I'm constantly burning, you know, that creative fuel, but I never really stop. That's why my slogan, so to speak, is "Can't stop, won't stop."
It's great. No, and it's actually a healing modality, and I think everybody should
Yes,
have that
yes.
because a lot of people are unhappy. Why do you think they're so unhappy?
I can't speak to why other people are unhappy, but what I could speak about is, you know, obviously what makes me happy, and maybe um, through the creative process they can tap into tap into something in themselves that where they can find themselves. I think that's part of my part of my mission when I'm painting live and sharing my creative process is bringing people together that wouldn't otherwise have come together, and sparking dialogue, whether it's with someone else or in the act of watching me, sparking some sort of, you know, internal um, dialogue within yourself as to, you know, what turns you on, what are you passionate about, what can you do to maybe, you know, contribute to the quality of your life.
Maybe take some people up on the scaffolds with you to
Oh yeah,
paint.
that'll wake them up really quick.
Yes. um, do you have any fear about anything?
I think, you know what, that's a good question, Gary. You got me. You got me with that one. I don't have any fear creatively. Creatively, I'm
Fearless.
fearless. Absolutely. I don't second guess any of it. But I would say dying. You know, I think about that sometimes, and I think that I think that infuses my my output and how prolific it's been. I mean, you would think that as we grow older, you kind of tend to kind of look back and go, "Wow, that's cool. I did this, or I did that." But I just feel like that desire to create more and more and more and faster even is actually becoming a thing where there's just not enough time, Gary. There's
No, I
not
know,
enough
but that's
time
the
here on
great
this
thing
earth, as
about
you
you.
know.
You're always painting, which is great. And I think when you look back and you say, you know, our lives are really short, you know, and you must not take any moment for granted.
Right.
And I think that's part of the secret is to just fill your day with joy and love and great people, and surround
Sure.
yourself with passion for what you do.
Yes. It's it goes back to that comment earlier about being present. Um, but I feel like creating work and interacting with people, I mean, that's when I'm really living, when I'm painting for the people. People can interact with the creative process with me. Sometimes I bring them up onto the either the scaffolds or incorporate them as a model. I think that endears uh, my fans and people who support me to my work and to me as much as it endears me to them.
Yeah. No, I believe you inspire a lot of people. Just watching some of the videos, I saw that young black woman. She was crying after you painted her, and it was just so lovely to see how you moved her by painting her. And the painting was brilliant. It was like a Picasso, but she was so there with you. It was moving.
I did another one the following day where there was another gentleman from the community that I pulled into the painting, and he happened to be a homeless man that lives on that very corner.
Hmm.
And he had also broken down. And typically, as a portrait artist, if you're or as an artist that's drawing portraits, um, to to say that I showed the portrait to the model and then they started crying is not necessarily a good thing, right? Does it sound like it's a good thing?
Right.
Like, but in this case, it's such a release because people are, um, I think, for a moment, they feel seen,
Correct.
they feel connected to, and that's a beautiful thing because you can't manufacture those emotions. They're
No. Well,
that
you're
that 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 powerful connection between artist and muse is very real, and I just love to be um in that raw space with
mm,
them.
mm,
So that reveal when I either turn a painting around or turn them around and they get to see a painting is of themselves.
would there be any
It's really rewarding, and I find that they're best when the sitter can see their a relative or an ancestor.
mhm.
That woman was so excited and emotional because she saw her father in the piece.
uh,
She could see her father's eyes in the painting of her, and he had passed, so that was another way of connecting to him as well. So these paintings are like portals to another dimension, and when I realized that I was able to kind of tap into something special in people, I it's always been a mission of mine to want to share that.
mm. What's the dream for Robert? What's the ultimate dream?
I'm living it.
Okay, good. I love it.
No, you know what? I think we're so consumed with the end journey,
Correct.
or the end of like this accomplishment, or the dream is to one day do this, but or to achieve this house or this or that. But honestly, right now, the act of being in it, like right now, painting till 3:30 in the morning, finishing up this mural. Well, today I'm going to go to USC and meet with my Vans team, sponsored by Vans, and I'm going to go out there and give away shirts to college kids to encourage them to vote. And then tomorrow I go back to my mural 100 feet in the air
I
and
love it.
paint this world record. Like right now, I would say I'm living the dream
Correct.
because I'm in it. I
Correct.
have plenty of time later on to look back and say, I did this, I did that. But right now, I'm too busy, and I don't think I'll ever rest on laurels. I'm too busy being present and enjoying
Well,
my life.
if anybody has not seen your work, they can go downtown and see it. They can go online.
Just
They
look up.
can, yeah, look up, look down, look all around. They
Yeah.
can go to your Instagram, which is at the Robert Vargas.
Correct.
which has brilliant things that they can see, and it's enlightening to see where you are. But I want to thank you today, and you are an inspiration to me. And I know that Robert Vargas is living the dream. So thank you for your time today. And I hope to see you very soon at the next mural. I'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary.
Excellent. Until next time, I'm Gary Quinn.